recent trial. So, open chapter 23, evidence in inquiries and trial, which is commencing from section 272 onwards. Of course, you have learned what is the language of the court, not material. Relevant, important provisions commencing from section 273. Evidence to be taken in the presence of the accused. So, in the preceding lectures, we understood the scope of the provisions of section 137 of the Evidence Act, how the examination chief, cross examination, and re examination take place, and power of the magistrate and the session judges that making a provision for the persons how to lead the evidence, how documents are admissibility of document. The provisions of section 135 I have drawn your attention. Please bear in mind that's a very relevant section. 136 and 137 there is plays a very important role in the Evidence Act, though it is kept in slightly behind. 130 order of protection of the examination and witnesses. Though in the CPC the orders are mentioned there, how the witnesses are to be given, when to be given, list to be provided under order 16, and document to be tendered under order 11, order 12, and order 13. In the CRPC, the provisions are not very happily worded to that extent. If the discretion is given to the magistrate court and the session judge to allow the parties to in the matter of protection and examination of witnesses. So, the important provision in the CRPC in regard to documents, I told you, there are provision for interrogatories. That is section 287 speaks of interrogatories, which are analogous to provisions of section 11, which can be asked by the parties, and question and answer. Then I mentioned to you that under section 294, the parties, both the prosecution as well as defense, are entitled to ask for admission and denial and genuineness of the documents which have been tendered. Section 294. Section 294 should be read along with section 135 of the Evidence Act. So when you tender the document before the court, so the prosecution has tendered his document under section 173 along with the police report, isn't it? So this is the time you as a defense counsel can raise objection. The documents which have been produced are not material. They are not connecting to any of the issues. They are not germane to the charges which have been framed. They are Xerox copies. They are not original, signature not legible. So I am disputing the correctness of the document, and your lordship may kindly hear me on the point of admissibility. So the judge, the magistrate, or a session judge passes an order whether the documents are, suppose the police officer has exhibited electronic evidence. For example, he has exhibited the CCTV camera report, where it can be manipulated. You know that the new generation children are very smart these days. It can be manipulated. A face or your face, a face of a particular person can be removed. You can substitute with the face of any person. You can create mustaches. So there is a absolutely genuineness of the pictures, the transaction and the recording can be easily doubted. So इसीलिए there is a specific provision under the Evidence Act as well as under the Information Technology Act. You must obtain the certificate of the authorities under section 65AB of the Evidence Act. Okay, you remember that as a lawyer. So ये complete हो गए formality. The judge passes the order under 136 whether he is accepting the document, not admitting the document. The document which is accepted by the court, by the magistrate or a court of session, He says document taken on record, exhibited, mark in evidence as proved. If the document is doubtful, the pursuant to your objection, the court may say that the document which has been produced by the prosecution, item number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the report under section 173 is a Xerox copy, or it is a electronic record which calls for proof, strict proof in accordance with the Evidence Act. A strict proof mean here a Xerox copy is not admissible under section 63 of the Indian Evidence Act. It is regarded as a secondary evidence. So you may, in order to prove secondary evidence, foundation must be laid by the prosecution or defense witnesses, whichever party who is relying upon. Number one, that the original document has been lost, or it is in the possession of XYZ, that you have given notice under section 66 to get the document from the other side, or the document is with the senior inspector of police or a crime branch. So that provision with regard, if you have taken the plea that the original document is not with you, suppose a registered sale deed is sought to be proved before the court of law, it is a sham, colorable, bogus document, a signature has been fabricated of your father or grandfather. It's an offense under section 468, 467 of the Indian Penal Code. It's a serious offense, forgery. So what is sought to be produced is, for example, a Xerox copy of the sale deed. Either the prosecution or the defense witnesses may raise the plea, a Xerox copy is not admissible, it is not a registered document. So upon which one of the party may take up the plea that the original document is lost, number one, or the original document is in possession of the other party, or it is with the registry. When that is the contention, please draw your attention to section 63 of the Evidence Act. 66 check law base. You have to give a notice to the other side in whose possession the document is there. Section 66 of the Indian Evidence Act. Yeah. Before you open section 66, I will just explain to you. 63 deals with primary evidence, which is the original document. Section 63 speaks of secondary evidence, which may be Xerox copies or oral accounts of documents, which are not proved. Then 64 say that proof of documents by primary evidence. In order to prove a document to be admissible in the court of law, what is required is a primary evidence, mean original document. 65 deals with cases of a secondary evidence, how they are given in the court of law. I won't be reading the illustration. This is just for your knowledge now. Now 65A deals with the admissibility of a electronic record, which are both primary and secondary evidence. Suppose if yourself you have taken, the police officer himself has taken with his mobile phone the CCTV camera, or a photograph, or some WhatsApp messages, from his own instrument, he can prove it. It's a primary evidence. But in case he has received information from the building or from other agency through different machines, and whatever material he has received in a WhatsApp message, email message, on a email, or a pen drive, that is all regarded as a secondary evidence. Secondary evidence which has been received from other sources cannot be directly admissible under section 65B. Admissibility 64B, subclause 4 check kare yahan pe. Here you require identification and you require a certificate from the authorities. So I won't be dealing with the entire section. Please remember that there is you require a certificate, and would like to draw your attention also to section 59, which says that oral all fact except contents of a document of electronic record may be proved by oral evidence. So you cannot prove the electronic record of CCTV camera, WhatsApp message, email message through direct evidence, through the oral evidence. What you require, it is a nature of a documentary evidence which must be proved after complying with the provisions of section 65A and B of the Evidence Act. Now, assuming for the sake of argument, of course, in 99% cases, the police officer or the defendant will produce a email message or what you may call it here, transcript message or WhatsApp message from the other sources. So, unless you have a certificate under 65A. Now, you take up the plea that here the why you are producing Xerox copy of the sale deed under section 63, when you see that certified copy can be given, 65(2) can there copies made from original can be produced there, then memorandum can be produced, counterpass, oral content. So illustration भी दिया गया. So they're all, you are taken a Xerox copy of the original which is kept in your custody. You may take up the plea that here the original document is not there with me, but I have a copy which I had given to my CA for finalizing taxes. So I have obtained the copy from a CA, I am producing it. It is still regarded as a secondary evidence. So you have taken the plea that it is lost. Now section 66 check करो आप. 66 की notice देना पड़ेगा. Rules as to notice to produce. So you take up the plea that the document, original document is not in your possession. It is in the possession of the defendant, the accused person, or registration. See, secondary evidence 66. Secondary evidence of the content of the document referred to in 65 A shall not be given unless the party proposing to give the secondary evidence has previously given to the party in whose possession of power the document or his attorney or so and so the notice is prescribed. So the fundamental requirement of rule of law is that if the original document is not in your possession, it is both in civil cases and criminal cases. Maybe a suit has been filed by you for a declaration that the document which is produced by the defendant is a sham, colorable, bogus document. Under the guise of this document, he has a trespass into my property, which is my ancestral property. The original, this is the signature is not of my father. He is showing consideration which has not been paid. He is unable to prove bank record. He is unable to prove income tax record. So agreement is sham, colorable. So simultaneously, parallel proceedings have been initiated by you under section 468, 467 Indian Penal Code, which attracts serious offense of fabrication involving a life imprisonment, minimum 10 years imprisonment. So you take up this plea here. This is a bogus document. The original document may be with the registration authorities. You gave a notice to Registrar Pune, where the documents are normally maintained. So you can tell the court, I have given notice to the registrar, sub-registrar, assurance, Pune or in Bombay where the registration was effected, and they have not produced the document, but I have the Xerox copy of the original which was taken, which was given by my father to the CA for finalizing income tax return. The signature in this document may kindly be compared, because this document, a Xerox copy, is the document which has been taken from the original. It is taken by my father and I was also along with him. I also went with my father to the CA. I know the signature. It's in carbon copy. It is my signature. I identify this is the correct signature. Then court may in a discretion accept it or not. Then court will say, have you given notice under section 66? Yes. So when a notice is produced by you, tender, Your Honor, I have given a notice to the authorities to produce the copy. In case they have not produced it, the Xerox copy in my possession may be accepted. That is one. Second condition, that the document has been lost. See that here, document has been lost. You are not able to produce because the document is not traceable. Now, under the provisions of section 65, you can say that secondary evidence may be given of the existence of the condition of a document in following cases. Number one, A, when the original is shown to be appear to be in the possession of a power of a person against whom document process is given, or any other legally bound to produce it, when after notice under 66 such person does not produce it. So you may take up the plea that it is in the possession of my chartered accountant. My lawyer, I have given him notice under 66. He has not produced it. So the Xerox copy may be taken on record. One. B, existing condition of the original has been governed by the person against whom it is proved by the representative. So if the defendant has died, his children may be in his possession. You have given notice under the law. Under the law, cause of action does not die with the death of a person, isn't it? So the cause of action survives under Order 22, Rule 4 CPC. You have given notice. Similarly, proceedings also, criminal matter, certain proceeding may abate, certain proceeding may not abate. The accused person dies, it may abate. When the complainant dies, the heirs can come on record and prosecute it. Even in some cases, when the accused dies, I have given a judgment with the permission of the court. You may follow up the matter to remove the stigma from the name of your father, grandfather, uncle, brother, whoever the prosecution. Number C, check karo, when the original has been destroyed or lost. So when the original is destroyed and lost in the incident reign of Bombay, you are unable to produce it, then you may take up the plea. I have a copy which was kept in the bank locker. I am producing it. So in that event, what you normally as a lawyer do, lodge a FIR with the local police station, placing on record that the original document in my house has been lost. Huh? The court is expected to know what steps have you taken when the original documents are lost. Lost का मतलब चोरी भी हो सकता है. Your servant has stolen, or somebody has stolen. There were a robbery in your house. Place it on record to show before the court you had taken diligent efforts to make effort that you are not an indolent person. You are a vigilant litigant. You have come before the court with clean hand, and you are not suppressing any material fact from the court, both in civil cases, also in criminal cases. So that FIR copy you may take up the malot. When the original copy has been lost and not traceable, when there was a theft in my house, I lodge a complaint. The police has not so far been to produce. I produce here with my NC complaint or a FIR copy which has been lodged with the concerned police station, and here this may be taken on record. So it is a document in the nature of a public document which is normally admitted. A police station will put a seal. A police station, normally the court of law would not like to call the police and examine it. Under section 74 of the Evidence Act, just open it, section 74, it becomes a public document. Public documents, you need not call the public authorities. Please see, for example, you are holding a passport which is in the name of the President of India. President of India need not be called as a witness to prove that it is your passport, isn't it? It may be a certificate granted to you by your college authorities. Unless seriously disputed, then they need not be called. A government law college professor, a principal need not be called as a witness to say whether this is your signature. It is coming from the record of the government. The High Court of Judicature, Bombay, has passed a judgment, given you a certified copy, and which is in your possession. You need not call the Chief Justice of the High Court as a witness to depose before the court of law. So they all come under section 74 public document. The municipal records, the taxes paid to you by the corporation, isn't it? They are all public authorities who are state or instrumentality of the state within the meaning of Article 12 of the Constitution of India. So those documents issued by assemblies, election card, and authorities, the election officers cannot be called. So that is how they are public documents. They are exempted. Then you need not call. The court of law will not insist and waste their time unless you take up the plea that this is a forged document. The passport entries are forged, fabricated. Then in that event, the court will summon upon your application to the concerned passport authorities to bring the record of the passport which has been issued, passport number so and so. They will verify whether any application was made, who made it, what are the entries, what are the numbers. Tally करेंगे तुम्हारे number है नहीं. That is only in cases of fraud. So I told you in the Evidence Act, there is the evidence called may presume, shall presume, and conclusive proof. May presume is a case where the court may presume that the letter has been dispatched correctly. The court may presume that a document which is a 30-year-old is correct document. A court will not normally like to dispute it, but the court will give an opportunity to the other side. Do you want to deny this document, or you want me to draw a natural presumption under 114 of the Evidence Act? So if you take up the plea that here, such letter I never received it, the landlord will take up the plea that I have terminated your tenancy, I sent the letter by registered AD, and it has been duly received and acknowledgement. The court may presume and shall presume that it has been correctly received and signature valid. Unless the defendant, you take up the plea, my lord, I was out of India. By no stretch of imagination I could have been in India to sign this letter. It is obviously fabricated. So your onus is to prove that you are out of India, to prove your passport, you have taken the plea of alibi. You are not there at the time when you came, and your house was locked. So you examine the postman. That you have colluded with you put in cross-examination to the postman. Look here, at the time when you visited the premises, whom did you find? Who are the person available? I put it to you that the house was under lock. I put it to you that there was no person by the name of Ram or Sham who has signed it. I do not know any such person. This is not my signature. And I put it to you that you have acted in collusion with the owner, the landlord, and in collusion thereof, you have manipulated his signature, you have been bribed. Cross-examination में question आपको डालना जरूरी है. Otherwise, your evidence will be kept. Then the court will say that yes, believe it. The may presume उड़ जाएगा. Shall presume example I gave you. A magistrate recording the confession report of an accused person under section 164 CRPC. Because the police officers cannot record confession. Not admissible. A confession record करने के बाद police officer, the magistrate, judicial magistrate, he will prepare a memorandum which I read it to you under section 80 of the Evidence Act, which I will not again read. The memorandum can be treated by the court. Court shall presume that it's a correct document. Unless the accused say that I have retracted it, it is not my signature. So there is no need to call the magistrate as a witness. He is a judicial officer. You have to trust him. Judicial officers are responsible officer. Yes, a police officer making entries, you may take up the plea that he has not done a good job. But generally in the confession, police officer cannot record it. A FIR which has been signed by a police officer, you may take up the plea that yes, the contents are incorrect. So you may call the witnesses. So that is called shall prove. Then conclusive proof, I gave you evidence under section 42 of the Evidence Act. There are three types of decrees, final decrees passed by matrimonial court, insolvency court, admiralty court. Unke final judgments are conclusive evidence. And under 112, a child born after a particular period, after separation from the husband and wife, there is a conclusiveness of the birth of a child, genuineness. Under 113, the acquisition of a territory by the is a conclusive proof. Three things. But the conclusive can be nullified under section 44 of the Evidence Act. If you take up the plea, fraud has been played. Please note that all evidence will be wiped out if the other side, you as a prosecution witness or a defense witness police officer, takes up the plea, fraud has been perpetrated in obtaining this decree in the family court. The suit has been filed by the husband against a fictitious lady, and the mother, his own wife, did not go to family court. She was not there in Bombay. This is signed by else. This is a fraudulent decree which I am challenging. So please, and a fraudulent decree doesn't become conclusive under section 42. So that provision, you must know that when fraud vitiate transaction, please open section 44 of the Evidence Act. Sorry. Can you see me? You all can see me now? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Section 44 पे आ जाइए बेटा, please sir. 44. See, fraud or collusion in obtaining judgment or incompetency of a court may be proved. A party to a suit or other proceedings may show that any judgment, order, and decree which is relevant under section 40, 41, 42, and which has been proved by the adverse party was delivered by the court not competent to deliver or was obtained by fraud or collusion. So, conclusive character of the judgment, and under section 42 बताया था मैंने आपको, section 41 says that here a final judgment and decree of a court have existence of a probate court, matrimonial court, admiralty court, insolvency court. They are normally admissible, taken on record. You will not call the judges. But a fraud is proved if the lady says that here, my husband, with a view to deprive my legal rights and to oust me from my possession, has produced this fictitious order, and it's a fraudulent order. I was not in Bombay at that time. I never signed this document. Criminal case register ho jayega uska. So the court will take up the plea that here the decree which is produced is not at all conclusive. So evidence will be given to disprove it or dislodge it under the provisions of the Evidence Act. This is applicable to both civil and criminal proceeding. When serious proceeding with regard to fraud is played upon the court of law, offences affecting the administration of justice are committed. When the plaintiff or defendant during trial in a civil court, criminal court, revenue court, or any competent court gives evidence and produces bogus evidence, he is guilty of perjury, which is a serious cognizable offense punishable for 7 years under the provisions of Indian Penal Code 193. Isn't it? So the documents which are produced will be confiscated, and the court will suo moto, even civil court will become a complainant. You have to make application under section 340, 41, 42 CRPC, which I will teach you that way. So ये bogus document produced किया गया है, and action must be taken against him, serious action. This is because the wife never went to family court. She was a mother's place, relations are strained, and that is how she wanted to usurp it. And he is maybe having an illicit relation with XYZ, his concubine, maybe lady here, to deprive her legal right, to maybe not acceptable to whatever reason. So ये ground के ऊपर ये challenge हो जाएगा, evidence that this should be taken by you. Please take up, even a decree is passed, a judgment passed, a criminal court passing an order and judgment of conviction which is not competent. आप पढ़े ना हमने, the judicial magistrate first class cannot give a punishment for more than so and so year. In the city of Bombay, the chief judicial magistrate may try all cases, but punishment cannot be given by more than 7 years. Court of Session can give any judgment, including a death penalty, subject to confirmation by the High Court. But a magistrate court cannot try and award a death punishment. Such a decree will be nullity. Such a judgment will be nullity. Similarly, a court of small causes court in Bombay cannot award arbitration award. It's a decree, is a nullity. Similarly, a city civil court Bombay now cannot award a decree for a divorce, which is a family court. A competent court passing a decree. The High Court of Judicature at Bombay can try all cases. It cannot pass a decree against a tenant to evict under section 41 of the Presidency Small Cause Court Act or section 33 of the Maharashtra Rent Control Act. The exclusive jurisdiction is given to the Special Court, Rent Act Court, to pass a decree. Similarly, in the city of Bombay, in a cooperative court matters, under section 91, all dispute go there. But you cannot expect the industrial court to pass an order, small causes court to pass order. That is an incompetent court. Such decree is a nullity. So that cannot be relied upon. That can be set aside. That is the meaning before the court here. Bear in mind this provision. Now come back to, yes. So you understood the documents and the nature under the provisions of section provisions of Evidence Act. Secondary evidence घूम गया, आपको notice दीजिए. When you lost it is, file a FIR. Then you lay a foundation as to how the document can be proved. That is the sum and substance, that is why then the magistrate or a session judge will pass an order under section 136 of the Evidence Act. Yes, in my opinion, the prosecution or the defense counsel has successfully established that here this document can be taken on record or cannot be taken on record. This document is a public document under section 74 of the Evidence Act, I admit it. Or the document is a Xerox copy, which is a uncorroborated document, I will not take it. This is kept for identification, subject to the prosecution or defense obtaining a certificate under section 65B of the Evidence Act. This all should remember here. As a young lawyer, when you enter the profession, even if you are called upon to narrate the Evidence Act before the examination authority, this all you have to do that here. So evidence part ho gaya, okay? So order is passed by the magistrate or a session judge. Your documents are taken on record. Denial has been taken and acceptance has been taken. Court has passed the order under section 136. Then now come back to CRPC 270, 273 में आ जाइए. Now, evidence to be taken in the presence of the accused. See that here, the accused may have been in judicial custody for a long time. The accused may be on bail and out of India. Now, section 273 says, except as otherwise expressly provided, all evidence taken in the course of the trial or other proceedings shall be taken in the presence of the accused, or when his personal attendance is dispensed with in the presence of a pleader. So, except as otherwise provided means there is a scope, there is a discretion in the court that the accused need not remain present. But the fundamental requirement of law is that here evidence must always be taken in the presence of the accused so that he understands the nature of accusation. Because this section 273 is directly connected to section 311, 311 खोलेंगे आप, 313, 311, power of the court to examine the accused. Because the accused has to understand, please do that, the reason why section 273 mandates that the accused must remain present, he should understand the nature of allegation. If the documents are in English or any other language not known to the accused, it must be interpreted, because the accused cannot be taken by surprise, because it is the duty of the magistrate and a court of session judge to ask the accused that there are circumstances against you. You must explain this. 313 statement examination is not evidence. This is only the contention, the stand, the view, his story of the accused is placed on record under 313. Please note that power to examine the accused. Every inquiry trial before the purpose of enabling the accused to personally explain any circumstances appearing in the evidence against him, the court may at any stage without previously put question to him. So the judge puts him question. Look here, the police officer and the prosecution witness have given evidence against you that you have entered into a controversy, a conspiracy. You hatch a criminal conspiracy to wage a war against the government of India. Or your intention was to commit a serious cognizable offense of a murder, looting, arson on so and so area. On so it happened. What do you want to say about this? This goes against you. What do you want? Explanation is sought. That is the reason his presence is necessary here. So that he is called upon to give evidence here, and generally no oath is taken, because he is not appearing under 313 as a witness, but he is appearing in his capacity as the accused. It says in subclause 2, no oath shall be administered to the accused when he is examined It's an examination with an oath, because in case he is making false submission, lying, he will not be liable for perjury. Some protection is given by the legislature to the accused to be bold. Don't worry, the court is not against you. Even if your statement are wrong, if you are saying wrong, I am not going to invoke perjury proceeding against you. That is the encouragement. Accused shall not render liable for punishment for refusing to answer question. Under the Indian Evidence Act, normally as a witness you cannot refuse question. Please note that. Now this, see, subsection 3 of section 313 said, the accused shall not render himself liable to punishment by refusing to answer question by giving false answer to them. See, it's very interesting. Now Open Evidence Act, which I will show you the contrary provision. A witness cannot refuse to answer. Now that section you must bear in mind. It's a very important section. Yeah. मैं दिखा रहा हूं आपको मैं. Yes. Yeah. 132 Evidence Act खोलिए. Section 132 of the Evidence Act खोल लीजिए. This is exactly contradictory. Witness not excused from answering on the ground that answer will criminate. Now this section is also against the Article 220 subclause 3. Article 20 subclause 3 tells you right to remain silent. Right to remain silent. That is a Miranda rule. Miranda versus Arizona of the 5th Amendment of the US Constitution has been imported in our Constitution. But the Evidence Act, that is as a plaintiff or a defendant as an accused.
Sir, will you please explain the sections again? Sorry, it was over. Which section it was? 220.
132 में देख रहा हूं अभी एविडेंस है. 132 खोल लीजिए जरा प्लीज. इसीलिए बेयर एक्ट रखो बेटा सभी आप लोग, because it's a very important section. Please pay attention properly.
Okay sir.
Section 132 खोल लीजिए. खोलिए आपने 132.
Yes sir.
Yeah, 132 says witness not to excuse from answering on the ground that answer will criminate. Now this section 132 is directly against Article 20 subclause 3. Just open Article 20 subclause 3. Open kare. Article 20 subclause 3 of the Constitution tells you fundamental rights. Can any of you read it? I don't have a Bear Act at the moment readily. I'll just take it up. I'll pick it up. Wait. Yeah. Article 20, from the language of Article 23, you are not liable to, you are not bound to criminate yourself, answer the question of a police officer, the famous case of Nandari Sarpati. But now that they, at the time when the police officer is interrogating you, you are not a witness. You are an accused person. Kya? Or alleged accused or would be accused. But in the Evidence Act, when you are coming as a witness before the court of law under section 32, you become a witness. Now it says that a witness shall not excuse from answering any question as to any matter relevant to the matter in issue in any suit or in any civil or criminal proceeding. Underline the word both, upon the ground that the answer to such question will criminate or may tend directly, indirectly criminate such witness, or that it will expose or tend directly, indirectly expose such witness to a penalty, forfeiture of any kind. So, there is no excuse. He cannot take up the plea under Article 20, subclause 3, I will not answer. He is bound to answer. The question the counsel may ask you, look here, you have made a statement before the police officer that you have seen the accused A committing the murder of B, and he was wearing a red shirt at the time. The time was 12:30. It was a Saturday. Now, you in the deposition, in the cross-examination, you tell me that Saturday you were working on that particular day in the office, there is a muster roll. Now, please tell the Honorable Court which statement is correct. You caught him red-handed because you have made inquiries as a diligent lawyer. You asked your client to find out about this man, whether he was living in which locality, the timing. So you came to know he was not there at the time of the scene of the offense. So as a searching cross-examiner, you have found out that he is a put-up witness by the police. He is a police what do you call it, supporter, set up by the police. At the relevant time, he was not there. He was working, and you have taken the muster of his employer. So when he may be confused, he should answer this question. If he answers any which way, he will be trapped. Samjhe na aap? So at the most, he may be proved a liar. He cannot say, I will not answer. He is bound to answer. But the only protection, of course, in such a matter, the court, he can be, the proviso says he cannot be arrested, but you can file a perjury proceeding against him. See the proviso. Provided that no such answer which the witness shall be compelled to give shall subject him to any arrest. So the court of law, because a perjury is a serious cognizable offense under section 193 of the Indian Penal Code. 193, 194, 196 पढ़े आपने? Oh, it's a cognizable offense. He can be arrested. But यहाँ पे direction, the law says that when he is deposing, giving evidence as a witness, and when the answer is proved wrong, which answer has the effect of criminating him, namely his lying. He has seen the A killing B. In fact, he was in the office. So answer गलत हो गया. गलत evidence देने का नतीजा क्या है? See section 193. Section 193 check करो IPC का. You should know this. (195) पे आ जाइए. Giving or fabricating false evidence with intent to procure conviction of the offense punishable with imprisonment for life. Because he deliberately giving witness as a police witness to phasao, to trap the innocent accused person. Punishment क्या है यहाँ पे? Life imprisonment है. So when the offense is it is a cognizable offense, he is in fact required to be arrested immediately. But arrested under section 41 CRPC कहता है, if any person he is caught red-handed by giving a false evidence, but the protection is given under section 132 proviso, he should not be arrested. Let him speak what he want to say, that arrested or prosecution or be proved against him in criminal except a prosecution for giving false evidence by such answer. So he can only be prosecuted under section 195, which a trial take place, minus arrest. So the police officer, under the provisions of section 71, 72 CRPC, he cannot say that I am arresting and producing. Now the Supreme Court recently clarified here, it is not mandatory for the police officer to arrest for sending report under section 17, under section 171, 172. When he's sending a report, the custody is, the expression custody under 172 doesn't mean arrest. Just to produce the accused, if the accused is willing to come. Now this gentleman is already in the box. He is giving witness. He is giving evidence in the court of law. Evidence is proved wrong. So he has committed offence under 195. Only prosecution can be launched without arrest. But he cannot say that I will not answer question. Now under 311 CRPC, open now 311. Abhi padhe humne. He is giving evidence not in his capacity as a witness, but he is merely explaining to the court of law circumstances leading to the circumstances against him. 311 पे आ जाइए अभी. Yeah. Under 311(2), see, 311 subclause 2, no oath shall be administered to the accused when he is examined. So that means he is not giving evidence here in his capacity as a witness. Number 1. Subclause 3 say that the accused shall not render himself liable to be punishment by refusing to answer the question. समझे ना आप? Complete protection is given here. Under 313, he is only giving a narration of fact. According to him, it may be right or wrong. This will enable the court to give a correct judgment. This will enable the magistrate and a session judge to understand what the crux of the case is about. Who is telling the truth, who is not. That is the reason here the law mandates under section 273 evidence to be taken in the presence of the accused. Now let us see the proviso to section 273. Provided that where the evidence of a woman below the age of 18 years is alleged to have been subjected to rape or any other sexual offense is to be recorded, the court may take appropriate measures to ensure that women is not confronted by the accused, while at the same time ensuring the right of cross-examination of the accused. So, women in India, by virtue of Article 15 of the Constitution of India, enjoys a special protection, and rightly so, we do not want to say. So, you cannot become so hostile against the women. So, that is some concession is given by the Parliament here in this regard. Explanation. In this section, accused include a person in relation to whom any proceeding under Chapter 8 have been commenced under this Act. What is Chapter 8 in the CRPC? You can just have a look at it. Chapter 8 ka matlab, that is security for keeping peace, starting from section 106 से 124. Breach of peace के provisions हैं. 106 से 124 where the executive magistrate can grant you bail. You are committing nuisance to your neighbor, consistently throwing waste paper, गाली गलौज कर रहे हैं आप. So they can ask you to give security and resist from here. That provisions are there. So उसके लिए भी abatement है. Okay. So evidence is recorded in the presence of the accused. Now come to section 274. So that is the object behind why the accused statements are not evidence under 311, but evidence can be given separately by the accused. Mind you that notwithstanding section 311, there is a provision here under the CRPC after the power of the court to examine. I'm coming. Yeah. Next is a record in summon cases and inquiries. This is a evidence is recording in a summons cases. You know, in summon cases, charges are not framed. Aapne sikha hai. In all summon cases tried before a magistrate and inquiries held under section 145 to 148. 145 to 148, breaches relating to water and their property. I'll teach you that property. One section 145 is very interesting in CRPC. That's a dispute relating to water and property, where the executive magistrate filed before, where they appoint a receiver, where injunction is granted by the court of law. Yeah, yeah. You must know little history about section 145. That is a dispute as to immovable property. They may be joint tenants A and B. एक गांव गया, दूसरा आदमी आके बोलेगा कब्जा कर लिया उसको एंट्री करने नहीं दे रहा है और योर नेबर का वाटर का प्रॉब्लम, you have cut off his water connection. Said dispute go before a magistrate under 145. There is a takrar. Your wife and his wife are fighting together. Children are fighting together. Bamboo leke maar rahe, neighbor leke. So there is a breach of peace in the locality. So for abatement of a breach of peace, here the executive magistrate in the city of Bombay, the commissioner or a judicial magistrate in Bombay city can initiate proceeding with the parties here. Various orders can be passed to mitigate the hardship of the parties and maintain peace here. The court may appoint a receiver under section 146. Court may order an order injunction. Magistrate को power है injunction देने का under 146 here. Both of you prove. A may take up the plea. We were joint tenants. I went to native place. This man कब्जा कर लिया मेरी जगह. Isn't it? The magistrate will say breach of peace. लड़ाई मत करो. You prove your legal right to property in the civil court. Go to the high court, city civil, small causes court, whichever court has jurisdiction. But don't, for God's sake, and fight in the criminal court. So the magistrate will appoint under section 146, he will pass an order of injunction and he will also appoint a receiver under 146. It is one of these rare cases in criminal cases where a court receiver is appointed by the magistrate when a breach of peace is taking place here. Appointment of receiver, see subclause 2 के अंदर है. Then proviso say that the magistrate may direct the parties, I will seal the property and keep it until the civil court passes orders here. So dispute concerning land and water under 147, see, then he will hold local inquiry under 148. So these are wide interesting powers of inquiry. That is what it says. Yeah. We are now 311 के अंदर है ना, कहाँ पे हम लोग हैं? We were discussing which provision? Yes.
274 sir.
Yeah, I am so sorry. Yes. 274 में देख लिया आपने. Yeah, record in a summon case. In all summon cases before the inquiries 145 to 146 inclusive and then proceeding under section 443, otherwise in the course of the trial magistrate shall, as the examination of each witness proceed, make a memorandum of substance of evidence in the language of the court. So here the magistrates, judicial magistrate first class, second class, and the executive, the magistrates in city of Bombay, the metropolitan magistrates, they are enjoined with a duty to make a memorandum of evidence, like a magistrate after recording confession of the accused under 164 records it. Okay, please note that here the memorandum under 174 is recorded in summons cases where no formal charges are framed, because you learned what is a trial before a magistrate in summons cases. वो पढ़े हमने, isn't it? So you please bear in mind that here, so magistrate, the judicial magistrate after recording evidence, the nature of cases are summary proceedings here under 145, 148, that is breach of peace cases. These are minor cases. These are minor cases. Basically, the magistrate will prepare a memorandum, because in such matters, magistrate cannot give punishment more than 3 months. All of you know that in summary cases, I know that. Then 270, then provided magistrate unable to make the memorandum himself, so and so. So writing so and so, ceremony will be signed by magistrate. So these are instructions given to the magistrate. You prepare a memorandum in the language of the court, maybe in Maharashtra, Marathi. If it is a Gujarat in Gujarati, maybe Bihar and UP in Hindi, or also in English. English is a linked language. You can also prepare in English, because English language translation is mandatory when you go to superior courts, Supreme Court and High Court, because judges are transferable. In India, you know that, yeah? High Court judges, minimum 1/3 judges in each High Court must be from outside. a judge coming from Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, Telugu and Tamil, they may not know Hindi. So you require English translation, isn't it? Similarly, a judge coming from a Hindi belt area going to South India, there the Tamil, Telugu and Kannadi language. So you require translation in English language, because ours is a very secular society, a transparent society, where we are to, there should not be concentration of power or position of one community in one particular state. That is why we have transferability of judges. See, judges of the High Court all transferable. Minimum 1/3 must be from the same state. Other states के सब भागे 2/3 तो transfer होते ही रहेंगे. That is the reason you prepare the memorandum. You need not call the magistrate as a witness in the trial court, appeal court में give evidence. It is accepted under the provisions of Section 80 of the Indian Evidence Act. This memorandum is evidence. Please once again read Section 80. The magistrate need not be called as a witness. Just bear in mind 80 खोल दीजिए आप Evidence Act. एक बार खोल लीजिए, then again I won't repeat in the next class. Remember, this section is very important. The court shall presume that Section 80 check करो आप. Presumption as to document produced as a record of evidence. Whenever any document is produced before any court, purported to be the record of the memorandum of evidence or any part of the evidence given by a witness in judicial proceeding before any or law so and so person statement. See, ultimately देखिए यहाँ पे, then per document shall presume that document is a genuine and statement to the will. So this will come in shall presume under the provisions of Section 4 of the Evidence Act. When you again open Section 4 of the Evidence Act, आपको पूरा एविडेंस एक्ट भी समझ में आ गया अभी. देखिए, may presume, shall presume, and conclusive proof is given to you in Section 4. Section 5 से पहले चेक करें यहाँ पे लास्ट में, may presume, shall presume, conclusive proof. So shall presume में आएगा Section 50. It is not a conclusive proof. Mind down, may presume के example 114 के अंदर है, shall presume के example 79 में है, 79 से लेके 90 में है, and conclusive proof with 141, Section 112, 113. Best bear in mind. ये तीन example है. So the memorandum prepared by the learned magistrate under 274 is coming under Section 80. Court shall presume that it's a genuine document and there is no need to call him as a witness. Then see 275. Record in warrant cases. What is a record in warrant cases? हमने सीखा है. See, now in the previous proceedings, starting from the Section 225 onwards, you have learned trial before a court of session. Then Section 238 onwards, a trial before a magistrate in warrant cases. That is chapter number 19 के अंदर. See, record of warrant cases. In all warrant cases tried before a magistrate. So magistrate tries two types of warrant cases. One warrant case on a police report, Section 173 and Section 190 subclause B of the CRPC. Then second type of warrant cases is triable by the magistrate under the starting from Section 244 of the Evidence Act of the CRPC till Section 250, that is read with Section 190 subclause A and C of the CRPC. Please bear in mind this. So, record, that record in warrant cases shall as a warrant tried before a magistrate in evidence cases shall, as his examination proceeds to be taken in writing either by the magistrate himself or by his dictation in the open court, or where is unable to do so owing to physical or other capacity, direction and superintendence of any officer of the court appointed by him. So, in every magistrate's court, there is an officer called a judicial clerk as interpreter. So, they are sitting down the ground floor before the judge or next to the judge. So, they are authorized to sign it here. Whereas in a summons cases, since charges are not paid, that is starting from Section 260 से लेकर 260 से लेकर 265 summon cases, they come under Section 274, where the memorandum must be prepared by magistrate. But under 275, memorandum may be prepared by the magistrate in warrant trial or by his judicial sharishdar. Bombay में कहते हैं sharishdar in Bombay High Court, and in lower court they are known as a judicial clerks. क्या बोलते हैं? Judicial clerks. So they are authorized to take the then provided the evidence of a witness under subsection 1 may also be recorded by audio, video, electronic means in the presence of the advocate of the presence of the accused of it. Now it is now mandatory in rape cases to record evidence in audio means, isn't it? Mandatory of the section पढ़ेंगे आप मालूम हो जाएगा section 157 is made compulsory, 173 के अंदर भी recording compulsory. So liberty is given to the magistrate, learned magistrate, to record audio videography. So when it is done directly in the court of law, it becomes a primary evidence. It is not a secondary evidence, because the recording is taking place from the instruments of the court, from the machines, from the computer which is pending in the court. So evidence when is recorded here can be proved under the Evidence Act directly under section 65A, read with section which say that here it's a primary evidence. I will give you two judgment of the Supreme Court in that regard, section 65A, 65B, what is the mode required. So it's a direct evidence. You did not obtain a certificate under 65B from the information technology officer. Please note that here, evidence. Now number 2 पे आ जाइए. When the magistrate causes the evidence to be taken down, he shall record certificate that evidence could not be taken down by himself for the reason referred to above. So the paramount factor of a consideration, the reason here, the fundamental principle is that here it is the mandatory duty of the magistrate in warrant case to record in the first instance evidence himself and prepare memorandum. But for some reason, for whatsoever, his writing is not legible, or A reason, B reason, and he is busy with recording, he may say that here, I am myself not recording it here, I have deputed this task to my judicial clerk or the sharishdar or the interpreter, and hence he prepares a certificate and he will sign the certificate. Then only it becomes evidence under the law. Then it can be, you can dispense with the requirement of examining him as a witness. So it becomes a certificate under section 80 of the Evidence Act. The court shall presume that the memorandum of the evidence prepared by the magistrate along with his sharishdar is correct and duly taken and admissible in evidence. Please note that. Subclause 2 में आ जाइए. Where the magistrate causes the evidence to be taken down, he shall record a certificate. आ गया हो. Then number 3, such evidence shall ordinarily be taken down in the form of a narrative, but the magistrate may in his discretion take down or cause to be taken down any part of the evidence in the form of question answer. Evidence can be recorded by the magistrate on his own. Suppose, for example, as a defense lawyer, you will ask him a question. Are you in the habit of consuming liquor? समझे ना आप? This question may come. Are you in the habit of consuming liquor? वो क्या बोलेगा? No, I don't take. Either the magistrate may say that here, record it here. I do not drink. I am not in the habit of consuming. Or he may put a question of the defense. Number 1, do you take liquor? Do you consume liquor? Question. Answer. I do not consume liquor. So question answer में कर सकते हैं और narrative में. You may say, what is your qualification? I am BCom. Question answer में लेंगे या the question, he may only take it up. The question, yes, I studied up to BCom. I am not matriculate. So it is the discretion of a judge given. Even the advocate can require that here some hypothetical question, difficult question to answer. It may be recorded in question answer. That's, for example, I put it to you that the signature appearing in this document at page number so and so is a sham, colorable, bogus document. A witness बोलेगा, I am not able to understand this question. So the magistrate will take in question answer. The question put by the counsel is, I put it to you that You have fabricated the signature of your grandfather, father, or of the complainant, and it is a sham, colorable, bogus document, and you should be prosecuted for this. Magistrate will explain to him the question. Then उसका answer बाद में देगा लिखेगा. Question asked by the counsel, answer. Well, yes, the answer is not correct. It is not true. Whether an attempt is being made to confuse him. Look here, this is the signature. Normally, it is done. Is it true? You may also ask a question. In the normal course, do you agree that important documents you will not sign without reading it? What do you want to say? So, an attempt is made to confuse the witness. But as a lawyer, if you are appearing for their side, be alert. You may tell the court, the witness should be able to understand the question. Always instruct your client, only answer the question provided you understood the answer. If you are not understood, bolo clearly, I have not understood the question. Please repeat the question. If there is accusation put to you, that I put it to you that you have deliberately suppressed this material fact, no, I deny. Denial, no. Do you know that 5-6 Akil persons had also participated in this crime? I am not aware. I don't know. XYZ. So the question which you do not know, you as a young lawyer for the defense, you should be intelligent enough to prepare your witness. अगर आप prepare नहीं करेंगे फंस जाएगा वो. Isn't it? Please make preparation. At least 4 to 5 hours preparation is required for each witness in the trial, when you are a trial lawyer. If you are a trial lawyer, if you don't prepare your witness, he will cut a sorry figure. He will screw up the entire case. Please make it a point to see that, make preparation. How he should answer, he does not know. Examination chief in examination chief in criminal matter is more tougher than cross-examination. Because in the examination chief, you are not allowed to put affidavit in the criminal court. You have to ask questions to him. What question you have to frame, what question not to frame. You cannot ask him leading question, suggesting answer. You cannot tell him that here, look here at the document, is it your signature? No. Please tell the honorable court who has signed this document. This is called interrogative question. Please, do you know? Please tell the honorable court whether you know any one of these people. You cannot say that the accused persons are your friend. Are they correct? No. Examination chief may, this question is leading, suggesting answer. No. In cross-examination, you can put it. But in examination chief, you cannot suggest an answer. So this is the meaning. You have to minutely go through this provision. Number 4 pe aa jayega. The evidence so taken down shall be signed by the magistrate. Okay. This is the, if the time is permitting, let me know. The time permitting for further 9.
It's 8:10, sir.
Shall we leave it now? Shall we take it tomorrow?
We can, sir, on next Monday.
Okay. 275 mark karo. We'll be starting from 276 onwards. Okay. To take from 276, remind me. 276 ke leke. This is a very, very important topic. Please pay attention. Because I am covering both CRPC and Evidence Act and your various civil, also CPC bhi likha tha uske andar mein. How the civil law ke andar bhi questions, demeanor of witness is given. This will take another couple of lectures. Section 266 se padh ke आइए, discuss करेंगे Evidence Act के important provision, examination chief, cross examination, the documents, primary evidence, secondary evidence पढ़ के आइए आप. Bear in mind, may presume, shall presume and conclusive evidence, ये सब, and illustration under 114 पढ़ के आना. There are about 10 illustration, देख ले आ जाइए. 114 क्या, I'll put it on board. तो see you all on Monday. Monday के अंदर लेंगे. I also.
Sir, can I ask you a small question?
One क्या small? You can ask.
Sir, I want to ask you that the document collect from the RTI through the Right of Information Act,
Yes.
which is admissible or it is it won't be in the trial.
It is admissible. It's a public document. The authorities under the RTI are statutory authorities. No? This will be a public document. क्या है?
Okay, public document.
Under section 74 of the Evidence Act. It becomes
Okay.
admissible. It's a public document.
Okay,
not
sir.
from private authorities. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
Pucho, keep. I feel very happy when you put questions. I love question to answer because that means you're understanding the case. Something in your mind, you are taking it out. If you don't ask questions, I feel very sad. Keep asking questions. I am
Okay,
very
sir.
happy
Thank
to
you.
answer you both in civil law and criminal law and evidence act, constitutional law, बोलो because fortunately I am exposed to all types of matters. सब कोई भी लॉ में पूछो, क्वेश्चन पूछिए, मैं जवाब दूंगा आपको. ओके, है कुछ और क्वेश्चन किसी के माइंड में?
No, sir. Thank you.
थैंक यू. चलो, थैंक यू एंड गुड नाइट. लुक लाइक यू आर हरी टू गो एंड हैव डिनर एंड स्लीप.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
See you all of you. See
Okay,
you.
sir.
Enjoy. Have a nice weekend and
See you on Monday, sir.
Huh? Okay. All
Sir,
right. हाँ बोलो डियर.
sir, I have a question to ask.
हाँ बोलो बेटा.
Sir, you say that we have to make we have to put questions in cross examination. So it is a high probability that the witness will say no. Probably he's going to deny the fact.
No
Then
problem.
what is the purpose of making such a question in cross
Because you have to
examination?
put up your case. If you
What
don't,
good
you
what
have to
good
put
it,
up. You have to put up your case. Your suggestions must be on record. If you are not put up your case, that will go against you.
so
उसके
sir,
लिए देखो, उसके लिए जजमेंट देखो, मैं भेजता हूँ ये 1960-61 कलकत्ता. Okay. Other side must put up his own case to disprove the case. If the witness is very smart, he will deny your case. Then you have to put it. You can, वो बोलेगा this is not my signature. छोड़ देंगे आप उसको. I put it to you that your statement evidence is wrong. And I put it to you that you have fabricated the document with a view to deprive my client. I put it to you that your conduct is dishonest. ये डालना ही पड़ेगा. You must put up your case. Like you put up plain written statement and counterclaim. Without counterclaim, can you get decree in your favor? Plaintiff is going for a suit against you for injunction that you should not be dispossess him without due process of law. You take up the plea, you are a trespasser, you should be evicted. In written statement, you cannot throw him out. What you must file? Counterclaim. If the court has jurisdiction or a separate suit. So in the cross-examination, if he says this document is correct, according to you it is bogus, then you have to, three options are open to you. Examine the handwriting expert. Section 45, 46. Compare the document under section 73 of the Evidence Act. Okay, and also put suggestion to the accused and to the defendant. I put it to you that you have deliberately fabricated the document to claim a legal right. And I put it to you that you have no right. I put it to you that my client is the real owner. And I put it to you that here the document is sham, bogus, and should be set aside. And if you don't put up this in a court of law, your client will lose the case because of your negligence. As a good cross-examiner, you must put this question, and I will give you a judgment at that point. I'll share it in the group. Okay, और कुछ है? समझ में आ गया ना अभी आपको?
yes sir, got it sir.
Anybody has any question? Good question you asked me. It's a very important question. Adversary must put up always his case after denying his case. If he, a smart, shrewd witness will deny. You cannot tackle him. You have to put up your case. Then you have to also prove your case through your witnesses. That is called corroboration. Then you may examine the your grandfather's old record, his passport. See that, your lordship may kindly compare. Make application under 73 comparison. Old passport will be taken on record. And wakalatnama mein signature compare karo bolke. My lord may kindly compare his signature. Ask him to sign in the court of law in the presence of a judge, whether this is signature tallying or not. See his age and appoint an expert under section 45 of the Evidence Act. Handwriting expert. Handwriting expert is not a conclusive evidence, but it's a supporting evidence. Under the provisions of section opinion of a witness, section 45. Opinion दे सकते हैं. Handwriting expert देखो आज क्या 45, 46, 47 of the Evidence Act. Please remember in mind. Electronic evidence 47A. ये चैप्टर्स अभी पढ़ के आई यहाँ पे. I will discuss this. ये पढ़िए आप. उसके बाद सेक्शन 90 91 भी पढ़ के आओ एविडेंस एक्ट का. हाँ, when there is a written document, are you permitted to go against the written document and lead oral evidence? वो भी बोलूंगा आपको मैं. हाँ, कोर्ट के ऊपर तुम राइटिंग में साइन कर दिया, तुम बोलेंगे छुरी रख के मेरे पर साइन करा रख रहा है. He put a revolver over my head. If you don't sign it, I will kill you. Under pressure, you signed it. Is the agreement binding on you? That also I will cover that. This evidence chapter will take 2, 3, 4 lectures. I think one day we will have to take 2 lectures. You permit me one particular day, we will take 2 lectures. सब when you all are free, एक lecture में नहीं होगा 1 घंटे का. We have to have 2 lectures. Tell me, Kumar, you can consult the student. 1 or 2 days, either Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You give me 2 lectures for this. Only for evidence.
Sure.
Okay? तुम लोग decide करो. अब बताइए मेरे को.
Sure.
Because it's a very important chapter relating to evidence in both civil and criminal proceeding, and it cannot be completed soon. Of course, if I can, I don't mind dragging it लंबा लंबा, मजा नहीं आएगा. But if continuity रहेगा तो आपको आपके mind में जाएगा. तो बताओ मेरे को, which day you prefer next week 2 lectures. We can start early, maybe 6 o'clock, 6:30 we can start until 2 o'clock. 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock रखेंगे या 6:30. Those who want to eat early dinner will start at 6 and they wind up at 8 o'clock. Choice is your student ka. Either Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, please inform me on the group. Okay, I am ready. I have been used to taking lectures 3 hours, arguing cases of 5 hours in the court of law. अब मैं थकता नहीं हूँ. I played tennis for about 3 hours. You have to develop stamina. तुम लोग भी exercise करो, yoga करो, and play some games. If you don't have stamina, you will not be a good lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Stamina पैदा करो. Don't go to sleep. Go home and have dinner. थोड़ा exercise करो अभी जाके. योगा करो, थोड़ा lifting shifting करो, कुछ जिम में जाओ थोड़ा भूख लगे या walk करो आधा घंटा. And your young people हैं, थोड़ा बहुत gymnastic भी कर लेना. Okay. See you all. Good night then. See you on Monday.
Good night, sir.
लेने के बाद तुमको मैं a very interesting topic on a doctor's prosecution निकालता हूँ मैं. How to prosecute the complaint बाद में लिखाता हूँ मैं वो. Yeah, let the evidence be completed first. Okay. चलो, see you.
See you, sir.
Bye bye. Good night. बंद करो मैं भी.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. चलो, see you.